Hello, this is Hard Chatter, and today I want to talk about TD Jakes. You know, he had I believe, stroke after his service this past weekend. Well, what I have come across, and this is going to be a little bothersome. If you're sensitive to stories of abuse, I would really skip this and it wouldn't hurt my feelings not one bit. But this person is called Duane Youngblood, okay? And he's gonna tell his story, and I'm gonna let him tell it. It's a video I found on TikTok. Okay, it's under Mr. Banks. Okay, so let's listen.
And we decided in one of the times he was there, it was going to be his birthday. I was able to convince my mother to let me drive her car as I didn't have a vehicle. I said, well, we're going to take him out to eat. I want to drive your car. And so we did. We took him out to eat. And it was decided after we were done taking him out to eat that I would be the person to take him back to his sleeping place, which at the time there was a lady named Sister Giles. She always wanted to house and take care of him when he came to that church. And so I came in there, drove him to eat, and then took him back to her home. Well, after taking him back to her home, he says, come on in, let's talk. You can't even imagine being 18, 19 years of age. This person is killing it, and they're saying to you, come on in, let's talk. And so I did. I went in. We sat down at a very long dining room table in a room that she had. And for 2 hours, it was unbelievable. Pouring of heart, crying, him talking about my father, we talking about these scenarios. And I inwardly just knew I had finally found someone who could get it. Someone who understood. I'm sitting at this table, and for the first time talking to any man, I got tears coming down my face because somebody gets me. Somebody understood what I was going through. Well, after sitting there and having this long discourse with him, I finally look at my watch, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to go. I got to get this car back to my mother. She's going to kill me. So I said to Bishop, I got to get up. And I got up from the table. He got up from the table. He walked around toward the way I had to exit quicker than I got over there. And when I started to walk past him, he pulled me to himself, wrapped his arms around me, and tried to kiss me. And in that moment, I literally died. I could not. I tell you, to this day, I can't remember how I got out of that place. But I remember driving home with all kinds of crazy thoughts and what in the world am I going to do now? And I finally get home, get in the house, get in the bed. I'm going to try to go to sleep. And I get to sleep and get up in the morning. And in the morning, I step into our bathroom and my home phone rings. My mother answers the phone and she says to me, Wayne, it's Elder Jakes. And I get on that phone. And when I get on that telephone, I can hear water. He is sitting in a bathtub. And in that thing, he says to me, without any hesitation, there's 3 things I need you to do. The first one is, when I come to Pittsburgh, you're going to be the only person I sleep with. The second one is, you can't sleep with anybody else because I don't want to give my wife anything. And thirdly, I will take care of you the rest of your life. I can't to this day remember how I got off that phone, but I do know I made a decision that I wasn't going to the service that night. And eventually I told my mother, I'm not going to go to the service tonight. She said, no. You know we got a rule in this house. If we go, you go. I never told her what he had done. I went to church, and the most humiliating thing imaginable happened that night at church. Bishop Jakes, getting up to preach, speaks into that microphone. I'm going to ask young minister Youngblood to read for me. And after all of that drama of the last 24 hours, I had to read before
Come out the closet and stop keeping a secret and let the world know if it had not been for the Lord that was on my side.
Let me tell you something. If what he is saying, okay, Duane Youngblood, if what he is saying is true, he really needs to start worrying about more than even his health. That is the most sadistic, horrible, and agonizing way to swoon somebody into an extramarital affair. And not only that, an underage pedophilic affair at the time of his prime. You know, that's when he was drawing everybody to the cloth. So when you've seen him, stuttering and stroking out, it's because of all the stress. When you do something like that to a human being, there's nowhere on this earth that you can run from the consequences of your actions. And when you use Christianity as a tool to do your evil deeds, then you're knocking on God's door. Well, you're already knocking on God's door, right? I mean, he's a sermon. He's a preacher man, right? You're already knocking on God's door. Okay? But when you play with God, he will humble you. That's why I don't play with God. Let me tell y'all something. I am a Christian, okay? That is my personal religious beliefs. No way, shape, form would I ever be at church carrying on some crazy stuff. When you are in the church, in the cloth, everything has got to be serious. That's why when people, let's say I was become a nun, right? And I decided that I'm going to clean my life, no man, no nothing, my children, my family and everything. I have to be ready psychologically and physically for that transition. He should have thought about that. Okay? He really, 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 really should have thought about that before he ruined this man's life. And I believe every word he's saying. He speaks with such honesty. You know what I'm saying? With such honesty. And you got to understand, babies, no man is going to tell you a horrifying story like this out loud. And you know what I'm saying? And it'd be okay. It has to be something that's been eating him up his whole life. Okay? And that's why it's so important. And I'm sorry. I'm proud African American woman. We have got to start talking about sexual abuse in our families and in our everywhere openly. Okay, that the day of monkey see no, see something, say something, see something, do something. This has got to be prevented from ever happening again, because I'm gonna tell you now, if he did it and if they push for the death penalty, I'm not gonna be mad about it. Again, I'm a survivor of child abuse myself from the hands of a mother. Okay? Rest in peace, she's gone, but seriously. When you ruin somebody's whole life, and then the connection with Diddy. And these stories are coming out in plethoras. Okay? So if you are saying Diddy's going to be innocent or the Reverends. No, they're all links to the same chain. Okay, this is not something different. This is the same chain. And I'm going to have to say this before I even close out this podcast. This is all hearsay. Okay, until the facts are stated on paperwork, everything I talk about on this case is hearsay. And I'm not going to shut up. I'm not. Okay? So until the next time, this is Hard Chatter, and I will keep you updated on this case. Thank you.